It's Michelle Brissell here, and I am so excited to be with you today because what we're going to do is we're going to get into how the feel process applies to your unconscious patterns. Now, when I say unconscious patterns, there's going to be those of you who see them right away. You're going to be like, oh yeah, I end up with the same type of relationship, with the same type of person, or yes, I see that over and over again. I'm not able to claim my worth when it comes to my career. Maybe you're a person that sees it, or maybe not. Maybe you're a person who's saying, pattern, what pattern? I don't have any patterns going on. But what you do know is that you would like to shift and change something in your life, but you haven't been able to. And that just means that, yes, the pattern is still unconscious for you, and that's okay. Because either way, the feel process is going to allow us to see the pattern and, most importantly, break through it. So today I have my handy teaching board behind me, and let's get into it. I'm going to share with you what we normally go through without the feel process and how feel can support us to break this pattern open and create change. So the first thing is that we all have needs, right? As a human, we have needs. But part of our human experience is actually experiencing having our needs go unmet. It's part of our human experience because that's how we actually grow and evolve. So something happens, whether it's when we're really little, like a baby, it could happen when we are, a young child, teenager, so on and so forth. But our needs just aren't always going to be met. We don't understand this, and so we create a story. We create a story as to how our need could go unmet, and that has to do with a shame theme that we develop. If you're used to my work, that's what I call this, and that's basically the story is, I'm unlovable, I'm unworthy, I'm not good enough. And we all tend to have these same type of core theme stories. That's the story that we create. And when we do, we're going to experience shame because we feel bad when we believe that a part of us isn't lovable or isn't worthy or doesn't matter or isn't good enough. That we experience shame because we feel like something's missing or something is wrong with us. Now, of course, we can't go on our lives consciously carrying all this shame. So this is where the ego comes in. And the ego is trying to protect us. And so the ego is going to come up with reasons as how to, so that you don't experience this shame and create some beliefs around that. And so usually the ego will put the blame outside of yourself, blaming in others or the circumstances, or your ego will even tell you things like, oh, I've got this, things are under control here, when really this need continues to go unmet. And I'm going to give you an example of this so that it really sinks in. So when we've got our ego working on our behalf to protect us from experiencing shame, we're going to create some sort of imbalance, okay, in our lives. Our life is not going to be in flow. There's going to be something that we keep running into. So let's take a common example of feeling unlovable. Somewhere down the line, you didn't have a need met, and you created the story that I'm just not lovable. If I was more not lovable, that need would have been met. And you feel a deep shame unconsciously for not being lovable. Now, your ego is going to protect you by saying, it can do it again in a couple of ways. Like, it could come up with this belief that, there's no one really, it's other people. Other people aren't able to, there's just no good people out there, and all the good ones are taken, and that's why, that's why I'm alone or what have you. Or you could be in a relationship, but you still have this story of I'm unlovable, and when I have these needs. And so what your ego will have you do is make you be the person that takes care of all your needs. And of course, this is going to lead to imbalance because then you're exhausted. You're saying, oh, I've got this. Here's a need that comes up. Here's a need that comes up. And rather than being able to take in support, you're exhausted. So in either case, if you're saying, oh, it's other people and there's just no more good fish in the sea, you're going to experience loneliness. There's going to be an imbalance there. Or again, you're overwhelmed. Either case, that imbalance is going to create negative feelings, right? Because it doesn't feel good to be in imbalance. Now, what's awesome is that our negative feelings is an indicator that provides us an opportunity. Now, what has happened in the past is that as soon as you experience a negative feeling, you unconsciously react in some way. Whatever that ego version is of that negative feeling, which is going to be about blame or hurt or lack, it's going to send you right back into you feeling like your need is impossible to get met. And then you'll say, oh, that's right, it is impossible because I'm unlovable. And then you'll experience shame and pain about that again, about how unlovable you are. You'll go back to your old ways of your ego to try to protect you, whether that's blame or taking everything on. You again go into imbalance and again and again and again experience the negative feeling that keeps you going in this loop, in this pattern, because because the negative feeling is just unconsciously being reacted to. There's no opportunity, there's no consciousness to it. Now, as you know, the reason why I'm a big fan of feel and how feel has helped me and so many others is because feel is an opportunity to make all of this conscious, and more importantly, to consciously choose differently than unconsciously reacting to our ego story. So the main thing to remember with this feel process is that there's two opportunities with this. One is that when you experience a negative feeling, you can just, go into all this unconsciously reacting, or you can see your negative feeling signaling to you, alerting you, honey, you are unconsciously reacting from fear. You've got fear going on. You're in your small self. Because otherwise, how are we going to know? All of this is playing out unconsciously. Our negative feeling, that is something that we get to experience. And being able to experience that is an opportunity to alert us. And then the second opportunity with the negative feeling is not just the alarm and being able to alert us, but an opportunity to consciously respond from your empowered self. Now, some of you may be saying, I don't know what my empowered self is trying to say, but here's the good news. What you know is, it's not doing the same thing that leads you to all of this. So whatever that negative feeling does, if it's anger, if it's frustration, if it's sadness, it's going to go into the same old song and dance. And the more you become conscious of this, the more that same old song and dance gets very boring. And that's a good thing. So with feel, what happens is you're like, I don't want to do that same old song and dance anymore because it just leads me to more and more of this. And more importantly, not having your need met. It keeps you powerless from having your need met. With feel, you get to experience a new behavior. And that's what's so exciting, because when you take the feel process and say, hey, this negative feeling is telling me I am in my fear and I need to do something different than what I usually do, aka unconsciously react, that means I'm going to have a new behavior. I'm going to do something entirely different, something that might scare you, something that feels uncomfortable to you. But you feel that in your heart. You take that step, and that step leads you to a new behavior, and either that need is going to be met, or you're going to feel closer to having that need met. And the more you experience that, all you really need to do is experience this once, and you'll see this is so much better than continuing this. And so this then becomes like a reward system that you turn to, because automatically you won't experience that negative feeling when you are adapting feel and applying an inspired action of a new behavior. The negative feeling automatically dissipates. It doesn't have to signal to you anymore because you're not in fear. you're back in your empowered self, you're creating a new behavior, and that will continue to fuel and foster you to get closer and closer and eventually stepping into having that need met. Whether that, and for some it could be right away, and for some it's going to be a process of stepping into that. So I hope this serves you. You can see how excited I get by this. And if there's some of you that are watching this and you're saying, you know what, Michelle, I see this playing out for me, and I would love to go deeper into the feel process, I would like to invite you to work with me. And work with me in one of my programs called the Feel Virtual Mastery Home Study Program. And this is a program, actually click on the link below, it's going to tell you all about it. But basically, in a nutshell, what this is doing is it's applying everything that we've learned, and it's going in deeper because, again, we've been doing this for a long time. And so the more deeper you can get into the feel process and understanding, it's basically just ingraining it so that you go here quicker than you go there. That's all. And so the Feel Virtual Mastery Home Study Program is all about supporting you to understand what your unmet needs are, the story, the shame, all of that. It's about supporting you to see that and then helping you to change your perspective and change your behavior, so that you are responding more and more empowered. To really understand and to be able to do that, we have to understand what our ego is doing and how we're unconsciously buying into that. So I just go very in depth in that home study process. Again, you can click the link below to find out more. And I also have a special opportunity going on right now, which is called my Big Breakthrough Forum. And if this interests you, I hope you jump in, because I don't know how long I'm going to have this forum going on. But what this is, it's an intimate group of people who are saying, you know, I feel like I just have to make this change and work in my life. I love the idea of having my negative feelings work more and more and more for me, and to be a supportive energy for me to create a fulfilling life. And we are getting together every other week, and I am working with you personally so that you understand what your shame themes are, where you're getting triggered. Again, this is a really intimate group, and I've test run it, and the people who have been a part of that test run in the last couple of weeks are just blown away. They're so excited by the changes that they're experiencing, and again, just a matter of weeks. So please check that out, and allow that, if it's a calling for you to go deeper with this process, I invite you to jump in on that opportunity. So again, utilize this process, because here's the great thing. You just being conscious that this is going on is a great thing, because eventually you will see the old song and dance, and you will become aware. So I hope this serves you. I hope this training has been helpful for you, and I'm just so honored to have you as a part of this community, and really understanding the significance to our feelings and being able to create a life that feels just so uplifting and good and right to us. So until next time, I hope that you can continue to live emotionally conscious and exceptionally well. See you soon.